So yesterday I did this, my tax return. And I wanted to sit down and do a little vlog and talk about that because 6 months ago, or no, it wasn't 6 months ago. Was it June, July, August, June? Geez, a year. So like a year and 2 months ago, I sat down and I really did not know where my business was going, like whether it was going to survive or anything like that. I feel like you guys are too far away. Probably a little too close, but we'll find out. So yeah, yesterday I did my tax return and it's one of those scary times. I would not say that I am great at knowing all of my financials straight off the bat. I can give you a gut feel, but if you ask me for specific numbers, I wouldn't be able to give them to you. So doing a tax return is important. Well, it's important because the government comes gets you, but it was important financially for me. I see it as a marker, right? In part of the way through the year to know where I am. And the long and short of it is the business is doing okay, pretty well. As ever, I'm not going to talk about specific numbers. I just want to talk about basically my thoughts around it. I think the best from my perspective, like financial result that I can give you is that my income went up 174%, which in all honesty, if you make $1 and then make $174, it's gone up 174%. It's not to that extent, but it's also not at the extent at the other end that people usually go to, which is like, woohoo, you're rich. But I think it's good growth for the business and I'm really happy with it. The downside to all of that was that I ended up with a massive tax bill, which I now have to pay. As ever with businesses, I think there is the good side and the bad side, and certainly doing a tax return shows you that. I think the weirdest point is that I actually walked out of there feeling proud that I had a big tax bill, because it shows that the business is starting to deliver. I can never say that properly. To deliver. I think if I look back to say June last year, 2016, when I literally gave myself 6 months before I was going to be out of the cash that I wanted to invest into the business, I seem a lot happier. I think if I look back 8 months to the beginning of the year where I was like, well, we're doing okay for finance, but I'm still not really sure, blah, 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 blah. I think I feel happier from that point as well. I think the only thing that I'm slightly disappointed in is that I didn't make massive changes to get to this point. It wasn't like I suddenly went, I'm in the wrong market or I'm targeting the wrong people. I need to go over here, and I made that switch. I think, to be honest, it's a lot of combinations of things that have probably I've changed and have changed about my business, as well as probably the biggest thing, which is that maybe I'm actually starting to get some market penetration here. Oh, I am burpy. And I say that because I'm pretty sure that whilst I've thought about things that I want to change and I have implemented stuff, I don't think there's been a massive change in the way that I've done business over, say, the last 6 months when I had my last kind of company reshuffle at the beginning of the year. I also think that my kind of like strategy or vision, or like the want to go after regular business is definitely justified. Interestingly, when my accountant looked at the numbers, it's like, wow, you've made it, like you won't go back from this. And I said, like, why not? I think when you're a product, you know, you sell something probably the next year, unless you really mess up the product, probably people are going to stick with you, right? Unless the price is too, you know, unless the price suddenly comes in or something like that, people are going to continue to buy and you'll build and build and build. The problem that I have with my business is that it's a very much a lot of one-off stuff. So I'll work with someone, do a one-off video, and then they're gone for maybe a couple of years before I see them again. And that's why I've been really kind of driving that like regular content piece, because it helps my business get regular money. But when my accountant says, you know, this will be all right, you won't go backwards, my initial thought is like, I could totally go backwards. Next year I could do like 175% less and we're back to where we were, which is something I need to work on, something I need to fight to change. So I guess that brings around, like, the original premise of this channel was I've got 6 months to make it. We're now over 12 months away from when I previously said that. So the easy part would be like, you've made it, everything's good, series over, hurrah, parade, whatever. And I guess like everything, it's not quite as black and white as that, because although, you know, I'm talking about this in such a positive light, there's still so much more that needs to go on for me to be able to make this a viable business. Effectively, what I've done is it's had probably still a below average income for a year, and I've just had a good growth period. And that's probably good, but I've still got a lot to do and a lot to kind of fight through to make this like really, you know, a business that I can work on that can support a life going forward when you want to get married, buy a house, have kids, blah, blah, blah. All that sort of payment side of things. Because I think, you know, paying for rent, paying for the occasional holiday, and, you know, occasionally buying a dinner somewhere, that's one way of living. But obviously, it would be nice not to be constantly feeling like the wolves are at your door. So yeah, that's my challenge going forward. I think I probably need to have a bit of another restructure and work out what my focus is and how I get there, and continue to kind of build this thing. I think people who know me on a more personal basis know that I don't tend to praise myself that often. And this seems to be one of those rare times that I'm actually pretty proud of myself for getting somewhere. I've been trying to work out the next bit, which is like, the weird thing is it's hard to celebrate that in a way. Like, I was gonna say, like, when you work in a company, you can kind of celebrate when the company does well. But even then, I'm thinking, like, I never did that. Like, our companies, when I worked that sort of 9 to 5, they did all right. We still didn't really, we celebrated other stuff. So in a way, I kind of feel like there's no one to celebrate with, but also when I worked in the corporate life, we didn't really celebrate that either. So I don't really know, there's just a weird feeling of that. I can't really explain it. Anyway, I apologize that I've been, as usual, away from this channel. I've been busy smacking out a ton of work. I had a first holiday in like 2 years. I've obviously had like some additional tasks to take on. I've also started up a Facebook group talking about basics of how to shoot video. Predominantly as a kind of supportive group, but also potentially a funnel into the business. And so I've actually been producing, I think we're at like 5 videos of that sort of stuff, and I've suddenly realized yesterday that I don't even know, like, these need to go on YouTube somewhere, but I don't have a channel for them. Do they end up on this channel, or I don't know, so I've got to work out that as well. But as ever, it's the usual, I've been busy, I need to do these more often, blah, 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 blah. Bruce always says the same stuff. Anyway, as ever, I should probably stop rambling, let you guys get back on with your day. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.